So just out here in Niagara today, enjoying the beautiful weather with my friend Tony. We're doing some picking around in the Montrose area, and we're starting to bust open some of the rocks because that's really the only way you can find stuff nowadays. Flip over rocks, bust them open. And I already found something interesting. Let me show you it. It's this kind of phosphoriferous material where the vugs are filled with fossils, but then in that vug, on the fossilized coral itself, we got a nice tiny little perfect fluorite cube. See if we can get a better look at that. There we go. So that's pretty cool. It's a nice little combo. That'll come home with me. We'll maybe go and check out some of Tony's finds. He's finding some really interesting, I've never seen it before here. I'm sure there's more of it, but like this globular sphelerite that fills in the vugs. So you get like a full vug of sphelerite. So here's that piece that I was talking about. You can see the bit where it broke off, but this whole glob is all sphelerite. So I think Tony's going to take it home and abrade it to take the little bit of limestone that's on the surface to expose the sphelerite. I think that'll look pretty cool. Tony found this rock just a little bit sticking out, so we tried to pry it out. It's a bit too big, so we just started chipping away at it because it's got more of this fossil kind of pockety material where we were finding the fluorites. And sure enough, we're finding some more fluorites. Just a tiny one right there, but we'll keep bashing away at it and see if we can get ourselves some fluorites. And Tony's over there bashing a rock, and it's got some nice sphelerite in there too. So we're having a fun time bashing rocks open, seeing what we can find.
Good day.
Yep, weather is beautiful. Birds are out. I haven't noticed any ticks just yet, which is great. So the temperature's still a bit too cold for them. I'll say that, and then after this trip, I'll pull 20 ticks off of me. That'll teach me to say things too early. But yeah, let's keep busting this rock open, and hopefully we can find some more cool stuff. So right in the pocket there, we've got a little bit of sphelerite right there. But then we got a nice kind of bigger cluster, if it could focus, right there. Hopefully we can get that extracted for Tony and get it out nice and whole for him. But you never know with this material. It's a bit of a crapshoot, so it's a bit of a game of luck. So it came off of the matrix, but it's still pretty much intact. A little bit of contact damage, but altogether really interesting. It's got this really interesting little bubble on there. I'm wondering if that's some sort of mineralization or maybe just a globular bit of sphelerite. But a nice little gemmy sphelerite crystal. Half decent size too for the kind of the orangey colored ones. So we're looking at like this kind of vuggy fossil rich material, and it's in that material that will hopefully have our fluorites. So we're just gonna carefully flip this over. We can see some like remnants of stromatolites, which is usually a good sign, but I'm not seeing too much. Well, we had stuff in here, but it looks super weathered, so nothing.
We'll keep looking.
Nothing fantastic. And then we'll check on this end. Not every vug is going to have something in it, but you can see it's this material with the fossil kind of in it that can have your fluorites, your sphelerites, and your different things, but we'll keep at it. So I'm just moving to different piles and checking out the material. Got a boulder here that has some like mineralization, some fossils, probably like stromatolite stuff. And then I saw this right beside, a nice partial stromatolite with some pocketing and mineralization. There's some gypsum in there. I'm pretty sure that there's some little tiny druzy quartz crystals on it. But a lot of the good pockets are actually hollow pockets left over, or partially hollow pockets left over from the stromatolites or other fossils, and then that's where the minerals form, basically in the voids. But yeah, cool little fossil mineral combo. So I did a walk around the hill kind of, just to check out everything. And I found this on the surface. It's a little weird. It might be just some weathered dolomite, but to me that actually looks like kind of some milky quartz crystals. And it's got some druzy on there as well, and a little bit of calcite. So I'm gonna take that home and test it and see what it is, because doesn't look exactly like dolomite. So I'm wondering if that's a pocket of quartz crystals. Just kind of cool. Not as common here. You can find them in some of the layers of limestone, but it's not super common. And Tony just found a nice little pocket of really nice gemmy calcite. And in fact, let's look at some of his other finds. He's got some more dog tooth here. There's some nice dog tooth, but the really nice one that I think is pretty sweet.
Isn't that awesome?
Or the really nice one that I think is pretty sweet is this one. It's what we like to call kind of like pineapple calcite, where the crystals kind of stack on top of each other. That's a nice one. Tony found this nice little bug. It looks like somebody tried to get it out, but then just gave up and left them. We're just gonna try a crack at it though.
We'll try our best to.
Yeah, we've got a couple of little purple fluorites in there.
Could be good.
Well, we'll see what happens. I've got what I think is a fluorite, just a clear one, right on the edge. So I'm hoping that I can kind of just pop it underneath here and come up. But it's a little awkward in this rock pile, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can get it out. Here we have that specimen with the little fluorite cube in the coral. Let's take a closer look. To be honest, I found much better before, but it was still just a fun trip to get out on. I'll show you some nicer examples of fluorites from Montrose that I have in my collection. Some that I've personally collected, and then one other specimen that I bought. You can see right there, there's a nice little fluorite perched on the coral. And then this piece just has a smear of purple. Nothing crazy, but you know, a little bit of color is cool. I have confirmed that this is in fact quartz. Actually, later on, we did a trip to Beamsville Quarry a couple weeks later, and we started finding some limestone, very similar to this limestone, that had this kind of milky, somewhat some druzy, quartzy kind of material. So this is in fact some sort of quartz, which is kind of cool. As you can see, there's some nice light blue cubes on this one, and a couple clear ones as well. This is a fun specimen. The one thing is that the color from the fluorites at Montrose does fade over time when exposed to sunlight, so you just try and avoid exposing them to sunlight if they're a really nice piece. For example, I keep my fluorite in this little box, which I then cover with that, and then I throw it in a drawer, and that should keep it safe. Now here are a couple fluorites I personally collected. That front right one is a tiny little purple one. Then we got some little clear little cluster. And then the one in the back has a very light blue color to it. It was a piece that I got out of a pocket of shattered calcite, and it had been sitting on top of the calcite, and it just kind of I've rolled it out of the pocket. So it's got a little bit of damage on the back, but I still like it. I like it with that light blue color. But these are some fun little specimens. This brings us to the end of the video. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you do like this kind of stuff and you haven't already and you've watched this far, please do like and subscribe. And in the comments below, let me know what you found the most interesting. And folks, just have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the next video.